friends, I am Sarah. Welcome to Grace in My Space. Today I have a really fun video in store for you. We're gonna do some holiday decorating, focusing on the mantle, and I'm gonna teach you how to create the foundation of your mantle so that it looks really full and really beautiful no matter the style that you have. And then once you have that very simple foundation in place, it's very easy to swap in and out different pieces to create a different look. And in the end today, I'm probably gonna show you around 5 different looks for your Christmas mantle, depending on what kind of decor you have. So let's get to it. We're gonna do a few different looks today, and they're all gonna kind of center around something different. Some might have a statement in the central focal point, some might have more of a focal point down below, some might be really elaborate, some might be really simple, and I hope that you get an idea from one of these different looks. This first look, I want to hang a wreath off of my mirror, and I would traditionally use a command hook, but in years past, that has failed me, and it's fallen and caused things below it to get broken. So I'm trying a different method this year. So we've got the mounting hooks here on the back of the mirror. I'm gonna loop some wire through those and through my wreath. Okay, now I just decided, I don't know what any of these looks are gonna look like until they happen, but this one I just decided is going to look natural. I want it to look like collected from the forest. We've got the grapevine wreath with berries. I'm adding this very long Norfolk pine as the base garland, and we're gonna build from there. All right, we need to start by making sure both sides are even, and then we fluff. The key to any good Christmas mantle is the fluffing. If you take a store-bought garland and you just plop it like this, and you do no fluffing, look at the difference between that side and this side, which I've just barely begun to fluff. True pine branches are not going to be like that. They're gonna be everywhere, they're gonna be untamed, they're gonna be kind of uncontrolled. And so if you want to reflect a natural look, you have to fluff it. For down here, I'm gonna pull them all straight down because this portion is going to have another garland on top and you won't be able to see it anyways. And then once I add it in, I can pop some of them up so that they're interspersed. I will link all of the garland that I'm using in the description. Some of them might not be in stock anymore, but I will still link the exact ones that I have, and you can check and see if they are. Another reason to fluff is because it just makes your garland look fuller. Pretty basic step, but one that some people skip, and then they wonder why their garland or their mantle looks unrealistic or thin. First layer, sufficiently fluffed. All right, now the next one I'm gonna add is the cedar. I have 2 of them, which will equal a similar length to what this one behind me is. And so I'm gonna meet them in the middle, drape them down the sides so that we have cohesiveness on both ends. Now my mantle sticks out from the stone slightly, so this one is actually just tucked in that crack back there to secure it, but I do use nails to secure into my mantle. My mantle is a barn beam from a 100-year-old barn. It has pits and holes and dents and scratches all over it, so I do not care to add another small nail hole. If you have a mantle that you do care about nailing into, in the description I will link some good fasteners that are able to be used on a mantle that you don't want to destroy. Once you've added your second layer, intertwine the 2 different greens. This makes it look a lot more natural. It makes it look a lot more dimensional and less layered and more integrated. I'm gonna pop some under and some over. So we've got some of that cedar hanging out the bottom along with the pine, and then we're gonna pop some pine up on top and just kind of play with it until it looks pretty good. Now, one thing that I've done every year for about the last 5 years is invested in a quality garland, one a year. And in the beginning, you start pretty sparse because you only have one quality garland, but each year as you build, you have more to choose from, you have more to work with, and as long as you're buying quality, they're gonna last you a lifetime. So this year was the first year I invested in a Norfolk pine, and I really love it. This was my new garland for this year. In the past, I have a lot of cedar, I have a lot of variation of cedar, I have eucalyptus, and I also have garlands that are not green. And so that adds a lot of dimension and gives you a lot of flexibility as you grow your collection. If you happen to have some old garlands that you do not like anymore, maybe they look fake, maybe they're super cheap and plasticky, who knows? Put them on the bottom of your mantle. Don't discard them or throw them away, because they'll eventually, with the layering, get covered up, but they'll add a really nice, lush, thick base so that your mantle doesn't look thin. And that is a great way to use something, even if you don't really like it anymore, just as a foundation to build upon with some of your newer garlands that maybe you like a little bit more. So far I focused on the sides, getting the draping down, and you can see the middle looks weird. Now I'm gonna take one central portion and add it to the middle to kind of cover up all the seams and all the gaps. There we go. Okay, so now we have the middle very lush and full, but since I only had one garland that was long enough to drape down each side, those seem a little bit disproportionate, a little bit thinner. So I do have these pine branches that I'm gonna pop on those sides to give it a little bit more thick fullness without adding anything to the middle so that it balances it out. We're just gonna pull some of that cedar right over top of the stem. And you'll never know, except I told you. Now this is a good stopping point to show you the foundation of a beautiful Christmas garland. Let me tell you how many pieces that took. To get this look, this full of a mantle, it took 7 different pieces of a combination of garland and stem. 5 garlands, 2 stems flanking either side, and this is a great foundation to start with. Now, like I said before, the reason that I buy one new Christmas garland every year is so that I can get to this point. So it might take you a few years to get to the point of getting a really full, lush look, if this is what you're going for. If you like the more minimalistic look, you don't need half of this, and you can accomplish a beautiful mantle the same way. But to get this look, it does take a collection, and so build it up over time. Now, essentially, this can be look number 1. If you want it to be very simple and you only want greenery, here you go. But we're gonna show you a few more ways. So this is a very natural look. We're gonna glam it up a little bit with some sparkle-tipped garlands, and we're going to just put those on the side and go from there. Now we'll add some of these stems, get a little bit of glitter in there. They kind of look like octopus tentacles, but we're gonna go with it for now. The ever classic gold bell. Can't go wrong. Let's do 2 of those. Now, as you can see, everything I've done so far is just to the front. I haven't put anything up top yet. That'll be our next step. The next look is gonna be a glam. This feels way too natural rustic. A glam forest. That's what we're going for. Look at this. I made this. I am not an artist. I am proud of this because I'm not an artist. But I do have a tutorial on how I did it in the description. I'm going to add some glam on one side. Because I have the bells over here already, I don't want to overdo. I want to balance. These candles are looking a little bit too small for this mantle. Great example of what not to do. These candles are teeny compared to our mantle and just the scale of our fireplace, so we're gonna have to beef that up. Thankfully, I am always prepared. I don't like that either. If you try a few things and every time you're like, eh, then it means that you're probably done and you should stop. Here is our look number 2. A little bit of glam, a little bit of whimsy, and very simple to do after you've created that first foundation. Here's one final glam look. We just popped some gold candlesticks up top, took down the trees, and that is it. That's all I swapped, but it made a really big difference. Now, I have a mixture of real and fake candles up here. As you can see, that one's my nemesis. Will not stay lit for anything. So, these guys are wonderful. I love using these. In fact, let's just blow that one out right now. I love using these faux candles when I have things on the mantle that obviously I don't want to sit here and watch to make sure that nothing catches on fire. So using these is a wonderful use for mantles, for dining tables where you don't want kiddos reaching over top of flame, for island centerpieces, all kinds of things, even in your windows at night. What a beautiful way to light up your home with simple candlelight in your windows. All run on battery power and with a remote, so you don't have to go around and turn each one on individually, or you can if you want to. This has a flicker feature, which is wonderful as well because it mimics candlelight a little bit better than the ones that are just on all the time. I'll link them in the description. There are countless ways to do a mantle depending on the decor you have. I'm going to do one final look, and I think it's going to be how I end up leaving it, but you never know. Now, before I fully take down all the glam, I do want to show you how much swapping art can change the entire look. So we're going from kind of a light and bright to a more moody, dramatic look with one simple swap. And now we're going to just kind of balance out the smallness of this one with some planking trees. And we're gonna make this one a bit more symmetrical. Conversely, you could also add your candles back up, which would be wonderful. There we go, very simple swap, totally different look. For my final look, I kind of wanna go a little bit old-timey. You know how in the olden days, they would just go out and collect pine branches or dried oranges or just simple stuff. I just tied a knot with my bead garland here. I want to get back to a little bit of simplicity with a modern touch, and so that's what we're going to do. All right, we're going to make it equal on both sides to begin with. And then we're going to tack this guy right up in the middle. Last year I made this for my cabinet, and it kept, I didn't know if it was going to get moldy in storage since it's real fruit. But it did keep, and there's nothing wrong with it, so I'm going to reuse it and put it right in the middle. Now look how perfect this little candle holder is. It is old-timey, kind of handmade look, off-centered, so that it's like you can either decorate inside here or leave it for your wax drippings. Or you can put it as a centerpiece, you can put it in your window. That's what I originally bought them for. But I'm gonna see what they look like up here on the mantle. I'm gonna add in a couple others to give it a little bit of variation. I'm gonna have to put something in there to make my candles have variation. And to also make it look a little bit more collected and whimsical and not all the same holder. We're gonna find out just how many candle holders I have for this one. I have this leather strap of bells that I really like. The leather accent that it adds, that's wonderful. It kind of leans more towards the old school look rather than just having the gold bells. And now I'm going to add, perhaps if I could find the end, some chenille yarn. Sure am. There's no end to this. It's just a big loop. Got it. Okay, we're good. Some chenille yarn. It looks like velvet. It's chenille, but it's just a little teeny touch to make it feel a little bit classier. hope it was helpful to kind of see how I built the mantle from the foundation up, with the knowledge that this has taken me around 6 years to accumulate the collection of garlands and stems and the bells and all the different things that I use today. Make sure and stay tuned. I'm going to do an entire Christmas home tour of my whole house decked out for Christmas, and let me know in the comments if you would rather see that in the daytime or candlelight. Tell me in the comments which was your favorite look out of the ones that you saw today, and let me know what else you might put on your Christmas mantle, because I'm always looking for new ideas too. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure and hit the subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, and stay tuned for a lot more Christmas to come.